everybody in the room needs to know who you are, Zach. Can you tell us who you are?
Of course. My name is Zachary Goldwich. I'm a public insurance adjuster out of Jacksonville, Florida. I was born and raised there. I grew up in a suburb in Jacksonville called Mandarin. I attended the local high school, Mandarin High School. I graduated in 2020. It's not a typo, it's correct. I'm 20 years old. Luckily, my dad is Mark Goldwich. I'm sure some of you in this room know who he is. So I have been fortunate enough to be able to work at his firm. I got licensed when I was just 18 years old, so I was one of the youngest public adjusters in the state of Florida, and I'm still probably considered one of the youngest, and it's been an absolute blast. Danny, how about you, man? Tell me a little bit about who you are.
So I am Daniel P. Emmanuel. The P is for policy. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. I'm a proud graduate of Florida A&M University. I gotta stop saying too. If you hear me say just look at me and stare at me. I'm so sorry. So no more ums. I hold a bachelor's degree in accounting and also in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in forensic accounting. I'm a father of two and a husband of only one. Yeah, I did the again. I currently work for myself, and I've been licensed as a public adjuster since 2020. I am also a licensed mold assessor and mold remediator, home inspector, and a two-time boot camp graduate. Before we move on, Zach, the world needs to know, man. What does public adjusting, or what does being a public adjuster mean to you, man? What does that mean? Tell me.
Man, to me, being a public adjuster is a lot more than just being the advocate for the insured, okay? They have, a lot of the times these insureds, they have a lot going on. Their house is destroyed, or at least they have some sort of damage. The insurance company's playing games with them. Any of these things, and they need somebody to talk to help them through this process that knows what they're doing. To me, this is more of a privilege than a job or just career. This is something that I'm very honored to be able to do, and very honored to be able to be hired by every client that I come across. And, you know, it's our job to do right by the client, and that's what's important.
That is amazing. For me, being a public adjuster allows me an opportunity to be that Avenger that I always wanted to be. When I'm hired, I feel like Tony Stark. I feel like I'm wearing the Iron Man cape. Well, he doesn't wear a cape, but the suit. It allows me to actually go ahead and dive into the duties of knowing that once I take care of this insured, that I can get them the rightful settlement that they deserve. Zachary, can you please give me a story about your why, man? Tell me about your why.
Of course, everybody has a story of the why that they do what they do. For me, this was one of my insureds. She had woken up bright and early in the morning. I think she said she gets up around 6 o'clock in the morning, way too early for me. She does a big stretch when she gets up, and she puts her feet down, and she steps into a puddle of water. The entire house was just about a half-inch of water throughout the entire house. She had a slab leak overnight. And she didn't know where to turn. Luckily, she had friends and family that have gone through that process before and actually hired us. So she already knew who we were and what we were able to do and how we were able to help her. When that first adjuster came out, the first thing that came out of his mouth when he walked through those doors were, "Man, there's not too much damage here, is there?" And she heard that. She knew she made the right decision of hiring us. Of course, in the end, it was a good story, so we were able to help her out and make sure that she was paid fairly, and she's just so thankful, and it's the reason that I like doing this, and just those kind of stories is why you have to do this. Danny, you have a story too?
I think I do. I think I have a story, and I'm going to share it with you guys if you guys allow me to. So
that one insurance company you used to work for, right?
Yeah, that one insurance company that I used to work for. So before I became a public adjuster, I was an independent adjuster. I got my license in 2017. and I worked Hurricane Irma. I was like, exactimate who? What's that? Um, they gave me 50 claims. I went out, I did what I needed to do, which I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I was just servicing and doing everything that they wanted me to do because I was operating off of a script. The following year was Hurricane Michael out in Panama City. I was a little bit better at the time. I was a little bit more comfortable. I did more training. I figured out who I was as an adjuster, and they gave me a claim. One of the claims, the claim that they gave me was a disabled veteran. I gotta stop saying, yeah. So the claim that they gave me was a disabled veteran. He lost his entire house. The whole roof was messed up. The inside of his house was damaged fully. And I wrote an estimate for a little bit over 400K. I sent it over to the desk adjuster. It came back at 133,000, and that's when I realized, oh my God, like, it's a business. Why are they doing this? I spent my sweet time on this estimate to get it to $400,000, and the justification of them bringing that estimate down to $133,000 didn't make any sense. I advised the homeowner to actually go ahead and reach out to a public adjuster. At the time, I wasn't a public adjuster, and the thought occurred to me like, oh my God, what if I could refer myself? Maybe I should become a public adjuster. Maybe I can help this person the way I would want them to be helped. To make a long story short, the homeowner reached out to a public adjuster, got a public adjuster, and they were able to actually settle their claim for $527,000. And that's when I knew that I was on the wrong side.
So now we'll get into the barriers and then the pathways, but we're going to start with some of the challenges that we have to face as new public adjusters. So, number one for me is my appearance, okay? A lot of the time, adjusters, clients, other public adjusters, contractors, they look at me, they go, oh no, I'm sorry, you're too young, you don't have enough experience, you're not ready yet. It's a barrier that we could all, even if you might not, be super young, you might not have the experience, and it's something that, if you look like you don't have experience, you could, be treated differently in the insurance world.
I would hire you. Number two, to piggyback off of you, I'm often doubted because of my appearance as well. Most of the time, people look at me and they're like, oh my God, can you really handle my claim? Why don't you give it to me and let me show you what I can actually go ahead and do? So I get the claim, I get it paid, and I get a good Google review.
Those Google reviews are pretty important, huh? Number three, now we don't have a lot of this in the room, but we have to address it, okay? Ain't nobody trying to help the newbie out, okay? Now this is more of an older thing that used to be that people, they weren't willing to want to help you out. Now, there's a lot of people in this room. The sole reason that we're here is to be here and help others, exchange ideas, and be that person to help the newer guys out. Now, but it's a challenge. If you don't have people in your network that are there to help you through it, it's going to be a tough road.
Would you say you were a newbie? I was. I'm a newbie too, man. It's all good. Newbies unite. Number four is levels. And this is not you guys. It's sometimes something that I've dealt with myself. I want instant success, and I have to tell myself all the time, man, I can't wake up and be Jack Hanks. He had levels to this. He built it. I have to be the best version of myself, which is being the best Danny. I can't be anybody else.
Remember there at the bottom, if you build it, it will come. It's patience is how it goes. We're gonna mend the fracture here today. We're gonna go over a couple do's and don'ts of this industry, okay? One of the first do's that we would want to recommend is either build a team of your own or join a team if you don't feel comfortable building it from the start. This is very important. It gets you that help that you need, the structure, and the the expertise of people that might have been doing this a lot longer than you.
Number two is to find a mentor. Kyle Spoon, Melanie Spoon, they've been great mentors for me. Like I said, I'm a two-time graduate. I've met Randall Love. He's a great friend and also a mentor, even though we're peers. When I need advice, I go to him. Vince Perry is another guy that I can always call. He's busy now, but he used to pick up my phone calls.
Now, of course, he didn't want to mention the mentor, Mark Goldwich. I don't know why. That's my mentor, of course, right? He's also my inspiration. He's the reason why we're here, but he's a good mentor as well. Number three, invest in your education. We're all here. We all have companies or have jobs that we make money at, right? Invest some of that money into your education and into your career. It's going to propel you so much further than you could ever imagine.
Number four is to get out of your comfort zone and network, meet people. Zach, you work for your Gold Star Public Adjusting. I work for a different firm, but we're brothers. We're on the same team. Every one of you guys, if you guys are dealing against the insurance carriers, you guys are on the same team. We're on the same team. So we should be networking.
And last but not least, you have to stay true to yourself, okay? Know what's in your mind and your heart. Don't try to be someone you're not. Don't try to move your way into, making someone like you, because just be yourself. Stand there, tell them what you think, tell them, how you feel, and just be yourself. So now we're going to work on our recommended don'ts.
So our recommended don'ts, and number one is don't let the criticism kill you. You're gonna mess up, and if you have great mentors and peers, sometimes the criticism can be sharp, but it's constructive. It's not to hurt you. It's only to sharpen you.
Kind of like Cal touched on earlier, you can't make money your sole motivation. I want to see a show of hands. Who's all in here to make money? Okay. Who's not in here to make money? Raise your hand. I don't see any hands, okay? So we're all here to make money, obviously. But we're public adjusters, and for us, you can't make money the sole motivation. The client is your motivation, and it has to be. You're the advocate for the insured. They come before anything.
And number three is don't take on more than your team can handle. If you have a one-man team, you got to understand that you might be limited to taking on just that, what you can actually handle for yourself. If you could take on more, then do that. If you can hire more, then you're going to be able to actually go ahead and take on more.
Guys, don't be that guy, okay? Don't be the guy that never answers his phone, never answers emails, doesn't text you back, okay? Always has a bad attitude when they're on inspections. This is supposed to be a positive community. We want to uplift everybody that we can. And if we have a negative mindset about it, we're not going to grow. The point is to grow and to make sure that everybody gets better.
And then there's so many more recommendations, but the last one on our list right now would be don't make it hard for the next generation of PAs. We shouldn't be hazing anybody. If you have the knowledge, share. Like, what is knowledge if it's not shared? Like, you're just holding it in, okay? It's great that you know, but help somebody else know what you know.
So we want to kind of try to open this up to a group discussion if we can get a couple hands. We want to know what kind of things do you guys are seeing in the industry or in the in the subcategories that you guys are in. What kind of things do you see? How can we help grow our industry, help out new PAs, new contractors, new anything in this industry? Comments, questions, anything? No. All right, Danny, what kind of things do you think would help you kind of grow the industry a little bit more?
Great question, Zach. I definitely believe that the training is one of the biggest things. I went and worked for a large public adjusting firm before I went ahead and started doing my own thing. But I didn't learn anything when I was there. I didn't really learn how to be a PA until I actually went to a boot camp. That's when I actually realized, oh man, all of the answers are in the policy. And before that, I didn't read the policy, and I just didn't know. I didn't know where to read. I mean, the policy felt so difficult to read. And then when I met Melanie Spoon, she speaks policy, and I was like, oh my God, this is like really cool. And now I'm converting and speaking policy now.
Isn't that your middle name or something like that? The P is for policy. We're here to grow, and that's going to be the best thing, and how we're going to be able to best help our insureds moving forward. The more people we can get on board and help us out, the better we're going to be able to become.
Well, Zach, since they didn't have any questions, can we take a selfie with them? Content is key.
Content's always key, Mr. Randolph.
Awesome. There we go. Thank you, guys.